The kitchen is a magical place. Humans cook their way into civilization, so why can't you cook up your dream Parisian apartment with the view of the Eiffel Tower? Cooking helped humans build civilization by unlocking more energy from food, which helped to fuel brain development, social cooperation, and create complex communities. So, your ancestors from long ago used cooking to build their dream life. And here are 3 ways that you can do the same. When in the kitchen, you have complete autonomy. So, in order to build your dream life, you need autonomy, which is essentially freedom. When you have freedom, you are less dependent on the system, which means less dependent on working a job or any government aid. Therefore, you have the ability to go out there and create your dream life autonomously. You can use all the tools that you have to go and build wealth in so many ways. And the kitchen teaches you this because you get in there, you have your ingredients, you have your stove, the fire, your pans, and you can create anything that you want. It is your opportunity to think outside of the box. So, an activity for you to do is to go into the kitchen, whatever your ingredients that you have in your fridge and your pantry, go ahead and create the best thing that you can. See what your brain cooks up because you'd be surprised at what you could make using what you have. And true freedom is knowing that there's nothing holding you back. There's always something to work with because God is always going to give us the tools wherever we're at to go to the next level. You have complete freedom and autonomy in the kitchen, and you can use the principles that you learned from cooking in your real life to build your dream life. The second way that cooking is going to help you to build your dream life, and we're building off of point number 1, is that once you make your creation, you will see your authenticity. Now, authenticity is important because it is the highest vibrational frequency that you can operate on. When you are cooking up something that's completely you, it's connecting you back to self. When you come back to yourself, now you know more about your purpose. What are you here to do? You know more about your passions. What do you love? Seeing your creation is basically like looking into the mirror at whatever you were experiencing at that time, whatever you're feeling at that time. You can look at your plate and say, wow, this is a part of me. This is something I made. Imagine if you could eat your baby, if that was acceptable, and maybe you could eat, like, not your actual baby, maybe it's a copy of your baby, and that was an acceptable thing. You would actually taste your authenticity. You would taste you. You would taste your creation. That sounds so crazy, but whatever you cook is like your baby because you are creating and then you're experiencing your authenticity, and that is a high vibrational frequency to operate on. Once you get on that high vibe frequency, you can attract everything to you. If you don't know, the heart's electromagnetic field actually expands outward, and scientists can measure the frequency of your heart with specific tools. So whatever feelings you are experiencing, do reach out into the world around you. Even though we can't see it with our physical eyes, it's there. And then it's reacting with the frequency of everything else around us. And that is how our realities are created. So when you connect to authenticity and you reach that high vibe, you're naturally going to attract high vibe to you. And that's a recipe for a dream life. The third way that cooking is going to help you build your dream life is because besides sex itself, cooking is the most hands-on and optimal way to connect to your femininity and your sensuality. Cooking involves all of your senses. It involves your eyes, your ears, your nose, your mouth. So you're literally connecting with your sensuality and you're connecting with your femininity because you get to play. As a woman, connecting to your femininity is how you can experience your dream life. When you get to play and do what you want, you kind of start to see how life is a game And that is how you win. That is how you win. When you see that life is a game, when you can build your dream life, you understand the art of playing around. Do you think a dream life is something serious? Do you think a dream life will come from you being serious and strict? No. Maybe, I don't know, maybe for a man, but for a woman, you have to be free. You have to be playful. You have to connect with your sensuality. It requires you to slow down and get into a flow state. And when you're flowing, who knows what you might come up with. You can play around with different cuisines, right? You're black, you want to be Korean for the day? Make some bibimbap. Maybe that would inspire you to learn Korean and then go to Korea. Or back to our beginning of building your dream life and getting your dream apartment in Paris. You're Hispanic, you want to be Parisian? Make a baguette. You can learn how to make a baguette. Why do you think when people take a good bite of food, they start to moan? When people eat something that's so good, they're like, mmm, mmm, mmm. You make sounds because it's a feeling that is so purely blissful. Knowing that you have that skill of cooking is top tier, and it's gonna help you build your dream life in a way that is subconscious, because you're going to be unlocking all these different things within yourself. You're going to be unlocking that freedom, that authenticity, and that play. And you're not going to have a choice. Your brain is not going to have a choice but to do that in real life, because what you're doing is you're making those connections in your brain with food. You're going to start making those connections in your business, in your enterprise, in your relationships, in your hobbies, and it's just going to spread all throughout. And when you look up, you will be living in your dream life. Why? Because you got in the kitchen and you cooked. You did what your ancestors did. They built civilizations. We're here today because of fire and because of what they did with that food and that fire and cooked. It literally changed our brains.